PMV virus is a virus that affects pigeons and doves, and there's a lot of disinformation about it on the internet. First of all, I'd like to say that your bird can recover from it, but it is a bitch, and it will flip you out if they have the severe neurological symptoms. Young birds are going to have more severe neurological symptoms, and the mortality rate is higher on young birds than older birds. Remy had it when she was about a year old, and I was so freaked out I convinced myself that it was salmonella, because I knew that salmonella is treatable with bacteria. It's a bacterial infection, where PMV is a virus, and there's not much you can do. Supportive care is what they need. So keep the bird warm. That's it. Keep the bird warm. When they have the severe neurological symptoms, you're going to have to hand feed them, and they can't swallow at a point. So you're gonna have to push the food, way back in their throat. You open their mouth, use your thumbnail and open their mouth, and make sure that they're eating. Make sure that they're hydrated. And if it's an older bird and the symptoms are just like, say, they have wing tremors or whatever, you still want to segregate them. If you have racing birds or whatever, you want to bring them inside and keep them warm. 85 to 90 degrees, something like that. You want to make sure that they have food and water constantly. And you need to monitor them, because if you see that the bird has neurological symptoms, you're thinking that it does, watch out, because 12 hours, it might just really kick in. Might really kick in, and your bird just can't walk. They can't feed themselves. If it's a young bird like Solar, the mother is, the mom bird or dad bird, whoever's feeding it, will not be able to feed the bird. You're going to have to do it. So it's a bitch. It's a virus. Now there's stuff on the internet that people are saying like, oh, Baytril's like a silver bullet. It's not. Okay? And if you give Baytril for 10 days and you think that the bird sometimes the birds just get better, at 10, 11, 12, 13 days after they've had the diarrhea. That's the first sign that you're going to see, is the puddles of water with the brown material in it. That's it. You see that, hold on, watch the birds, and make sure that they're separated and they're not able to fly, because if the neurological symptoms happen, then they could crash land and kill themselves doing that way. So you want to limit them. You're going to want to use a crate, a small crate with soft material in it. And if they have the severe neurological symptoms, you're going to want to use rolled up socks so that they don't fall over. They'll be passing out. It's grueling to watch. Their eyes will be closing, and they'll be passing out and falling forward. They'll be drunk and fall this way. So you want to use the rolled up socks as like like bumpers. If they fall forward, they hit a sock. Also, if they're falling forward, it might cause them to vomit, and vomiting will kill. That's really bad for dogs, cats, birds, humans. They'll dehydrate quicker that way than anyway. You can't make them better by giving them Baytril. That's just a fact. It's a virus. It has to run its course. It might take 3 weeks. That's what you're looking at, 3 weeks of supportive care. But you also have another 3 weeks where you should watch them, because they could have symptoms longer. But about 3 weeks would be your general rule of thumb. 6 weeks total. And Remy, hang on. All right, you can eat that. She's eating corn. 6 weeks total to where the bird would be 6 to 8 weeks to where the bird could be safe to be around other pigeons that have never had it. Now, you can get your birds vaccinated if you're in Australia or Europe, and some places in the United States you can find the vaccine, but know this, that they don't make a vaccine in the United States, and a vaccine for chickens, for Newcastles, is not the same thing as a vaccine specifically for pigeons with PMV. It's people are trying to sell stuff to you. That is not going to help your bird not get PMV. It's a totally different strain of virus, and it's for a different species. So if they're saying, yeah, the Lasoida vaccine for chickens, like, don't believe them. Some places will import the pigeon vaccine from Europe and Australia, but legally they're not supposed to be doing it. I'm just telling you. You know, the FDA does not want live vaccines being shipped into the United States, and that's what it is. It's a live vaccine. Now, this PMV virus doesn't affect dogs. It doesn't affect cats. The worst thing that a human can get from this is like conjunctivitis in their eye. I've never had the conjunctivitis. You know, I guess you can get the conjunctivitis if you're working with the live vaccine and you prick yourself. But it's relatively harmless to a human. It's definitely harmless to other animals. And your other birds, ravens, parrots, you know, it doesn't seem to affect them either. The worry is that it's going to jump species at some point, and pigeons will fly into like chicken farms and you know, turkey farms. Remy, she's stepping on the tripod, but you know, and roost up top of the chickens, and then, you know, they'll go to the bathroom and infect the chickens. So that's what the poultry community is worried about, that it will jump species at some point. But as of yet, no, it has not. And it's just strictly pigeons and doves that get it. And like a lot of people say, you know, if you have pigeons and doves, you're going to get it. They're going to get it. And I'll be honest with you, all my pigeons have had it at this point. So know this too, that if your bird recovers, that your bird will have immunity for life. You don't have to vaccinate it. It's just a bitch, and the mortality rate on a young bird is much higher than an older bird, and feral birds seem to handle it better than fancy breeds like tumblers. Tumblers don't handle it well. You know, some of the fancy breeds don't. So, but with that said, like if you go around my house in Brooklyn, my art studio, I don't see any pigeons anymore. And the people at the pigeon store said that, you know, a lot of the people that have coops up on Knickerbocker Street that are close, like they sort of got decimated. But I'm talking to one guy, and I'm like, well, what do you do if your bird gets the spins? Some people call it the spins. He says, I don't do anything. So he has this like survival of the fittest type attitude. Like, that's fucked up. When you know that a bird can recover from it, and you're just going to be like, well, if it lives, it lives. I think that's screwed up. That shows that a lot of these people really, you know, Remy, go. That shows that a lot of people just really don't care about these birds that are kept in coops. I'm not saying that they don't like them, you know, they might like them, but they don't like them enough to take care of them properly, or you know, hand feed them when they're sick. So just know this, if your pigeon, if you see the first sign, which is diarrhea, know that none of the signs show up all together. First sign will be diarrhea. That'll be about 3 days long. A few more days, they'll sort of seem normal. The neurological symptoms might kick in, depending on, if it's a real young bird, it might go from the diarrhea stage into the neurological stage. If you have some kind of period where the bird seems pretty normal, you know, hold on, because you might get a bird that's real sick in just a matter of hours. And if you see the neurological symptoms, I'm telling you, 12 hours later, the bird might not be able to walk. You're going to have to hand feed it, keep it warm, and good luck. That's the best thing that I can say. Monitor the bird, make sure that the birds are kept warm, and you're going to have to probably hand feed them. Sometimes Remy ate on her own. She was fine. You know, she had some of the neurological symptoms, but not really. Young birds like this, you have to feed them. It's a bitch. It is. It's a bitch.